Hi, travel agents. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Cindy. I'll be your host for today. So, today we have a very exciting webinar with Cedar City. And before we get started, I just want to go over some housekeeping rules. So, if you have any questions, make sure to drop it in the Q&A box and we'll get to it at the end of the webinar. We also have a great prize today of a $100 gift card. So, make sure to stay till the end to qualify, and the winner will be chosen offline and notified through email. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce Corey Marshall. He's the account director at Visit Utah. Hi, Corey. Thank you for joining us. How are you
Uh,
doing today?
Oh, we're good. Thank you. We're good. Excited to bring a little bit of a taste of part of Utah to the Canadian travel agents today. And yeah, it's always great to partner with Travel Week.
Awesome. Well, we're very excited to have you here, and I'm sure the agents are very excited to hear what you have to share as well. So please go ahead with your presentation.
Amazing. We'll take it away. I'm obviously surrounded by beautiful dark skies, and that's a big part of a trip to Utah that we'll talk about as well today. So I'll just share my screen and we'll get started. All right. We're here today as part of a Utah series. We're doing the Travel Week, and I'm fortunate to be doing the Cedar City Brian Head presentation. I know we have Salt Lake City and a few others coming up as well, so make sure you stay tuned for those. But of course, where is Cedar City? Where is in comparison to the state of Utah and some of our hubs from Canada? Well, especially for the Canadian market, see that I-15 that comes right down and through us. That's the way that most Canadian snowbirds travel through to southern the U.S. and Arizona into some of those second homes that are owned and or to get away from our winters. And so it's a great stopping point on the way through, obviously, because you can see the proximity to some of the iconic national parks and, of course, Cedar Breaks National Monument as well. We are, as you can see on the screen, less than 3 hours from Las Vegas and 4 hours from Salt Lake City. It's only 90 minutes to Zion and Bryce. So we're right in the sweet spot in Southwest Utah. We're a great hub, of course, a full service community, 2,000 different lodging options and rooms, eclectic downtown worthy of exploring, 125 different restaurants, wineries, outdoor recreation hub. Basically, the community of Las Vegas actually come and explore the outdoors in Cedar City and Brian Head. We're less than 90 minutes, as I said, to Zion and Bryce National Park.
Discover the art of adventure in Cedar City, Utah. Towering red rocks, epic trails, events, and world-class drama at the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival. Just a short drive to Zion, Bryce Canyon, Cedar Breaks, and Co-op Canyons. Your gateway to the park starts right here. Then head up to Brian Head for chairlift rides with endless high-elevation views, wildflower meadows, ATV and downhill biking trails, and stargazing that'll take your breath away. You'll find inspired adventure around every turn. Start planning now at visitcedarcity.com.
So Cedar Breaks National Monument is located a mere 20 minutes away from Cedar City. Similar to Bryce Canyon, however, more colorful due to the layer of oxidized soils that have eroded into intricate rock formations, and it's far less crowded. Seasoned rangers lead activities every day focusing on Cedar Breaks geology, plant life, and of course the wildlife in the area as well. Throughout the month of July, the meadows of Cedar Breaks are carpeted in the most stunning display of wildflowers and celebrated with their Wildflower Festival. Late September, the aspens turn gold, and Cedar Breaks Highway 148, which is a scenic byway, features a stunning display of color amongst Utah's famous red rocks. Since 1972, park staff have been answering guest questions in a cabin that was barely 650 square feet, relatively small. But thanks to the efforts of the National Park Service, Zion Forever, and other stakeholders, we've just completed construction on a state-of-the-art visitor education center and experience this past year. It's vastly improved the overall visitor experience for our Canadian friends that come down and encourages more in-depth exploration of the area. Far removed from the lights of the big city, Cedar Breaks is renowned for its dark skies, as I mentioned before, and was actually named by USA Today as one of the top places in the world to enjoy the night sky and designated as an international dark sky space. Star parties happen all the time and are celebrations of sharing the beauty of the night sky. Cedar Breaks also holds a series of astronomy programs, also known as these star parties, throughout the year every Saturday and on evenings of major astronomical events. Depending on the night, you might see craters and mountain ranges on the moon, the rings of Saturn, Jupiter's Galilean moons, star clusters, galaxy, nebula, and more. Once the skies are completely dark, ranger-led laser-powered constellation tours discuss the mythology of the heavens. Just off Interstate 15, experience the north side of Zion National Park called Kolob Canyons. It's home to towering cliffs of Vermilion sandstone, hiking trails, a beautiful 5 mile scenic drive. Here in the northwest corner of the park, narrow parallel box canyons are cut into the western edge of the Colorado Plateau, forming majestic peaks and 2,000-foot cliff walls. One of the few national parks that can be experienced from the comfort of your vehicle or on the trail, Kolob is a great option for a full day adventure or a quick scenic drive. Kolob also features some of the most stunning dark skies in southern Utah, yet so convenient being located just off that Interstate 15 that I mentioned before. It's an excellent alternative to stop for those oversized vehicles who are not able to access Zion Tunnel and are being rerouted via Interstate 15. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. Cedar City is also home to the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival. This repertory theater festival, seen on the screen, presents 6 plays every late June through the first week of October in 3 separate grand theaters. The outdoor Engelstad Theater features 2 of Shakespeare's classics on a nightly rotation, and the 2 indoor theaters feature more modern comedies and dramas. A free nightly green show is offered just before the evening performances, filled with song and dance, perfect for all ages. Every morning, there are free seminars to discuss the play from the night before. Plays for this season are Macbeth, As You Like It, Antony and Cleopatra, The Importance of Being Earnest, Steel Magnolias, and Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. Of course, there's also Dear Jack and Dear Louise. Cedar City has also a fun downtown that's centrally located to the Utah Shakespeare Festival that I just was speaking about, and the Southern Utah Museum of Art, which is a free museum, complimentary, open all year, that features rotating exhibits of national and regional artists and houses the permanent collection of the famed National Park landscape artist Jimmy Jones. Downtown is just steps away from this cultural center and features several boutiques, local dining, and a winery well worth enjoying. There's a free farmers market every Saturday, rain or shine. The Cedar City area is truly full of Western experiences and events. Parowan Gap petroglyphs provide an easy glimpse at early Native American rock art that's easily accessible for most people, as it's right off the road. There's no hiking involved, and the site is fully developed with interpretive displays, picnic spots, and restroom facilities free to the public to use. Frontier Homestead State Park brings the early settlement of southern Utah to life with hands-on activities like gold panning and candle dipping. The Paiute Indian tribe of Utah is headquartered in Cedar City and offer events and performances throughout the year. So indigenous tourism is very much apparent in Cedar City and Bryan Head area. Of course, if you think about southern Utah, you don't always think about ski, but Utah is home to the greatest snow on earth, scientifically proven and trademarked. So even when you're in Cedar City and Bryan Head, a big part of a winter holiday is skiing at Bryan Head Resort. You can actually go skiing and enjoy the national parks and monuments all in one trip. You can see how close Cedar Breaks is to the skier in the photograph. You can actually glimpse it while skiing at the powder, and it's obviously why Bryan Head has been named one of the most scenic ski resorts in all of North America. Um, when you're skiing Bryan Head, you can see it's the highest base elevation in Utah. And even if you're doing in northern Utah to Salt Lake City, which is again about 4 hours away, ski holiday, you can combine it with this iconic southern Utah road trip and still get some turns amongst the red rock. Personally, I've done a ski day at Bryan Head and it's absolutely outstanding, but I've also taken a snowmobile tour from Bryan Head area out to Cedar Breaks National Monument, and it was one of the greatest winter experiences I've had in my life. Bryan Head summers are filled with cool mountain adventures, from scenic chairlift rides to the top of Bryan Head Peak or world-class downhill mountain biking. There's ATV and side-by-side rentals. There's tubing, bungee, trampoline, and mini zip line. It's an outdoor adventure playground. Bryan Head Town offers lots of mountain lodging options and condos and cabins and luxury lodge-style hotels for your clients. And it's a cool summer getaway that's perfect for families looking for a base camp for all of their summer and national park adventures. Cedar Breaks National Monument is again less than 10 minutes from town, and the Dixie National Forest that surrounds Bryan Head off that scenic byway I mentioned before is just exceptional. Cedar City actually has two new excursion opportunities, including slingshot rentals offered by the La Quinta Hotel and dark sky tours offered by Southwest Adventure Tours. If you're not familiar with Southwest Adventure Tours, they're a trade and travel agent friendly tour operator that offers all kinds of tours, single day, multi-day across the state of Utah. So definitely look them up. Um, Easy to find from the interstate, nestled in the picture-perfect town of Parowan, a short drive from Cedar City. And Brian Head is the new Valor by Choice Hotel. It's a perfect place to stay. It's 3 stories, 77 rooms, 6 suites, and a mixture of upscale plus meeting and conference rooms, indoor spa, as well as electric bikes available to rent. Brian Head Lodge is owned by Brian Head Resort, and guests can get free ski lift tickets when booking a minimum 2 night stay at the Brian Head Lodge. How good is that for Canadians coming down for a couple of nights in the winter? So again, free lift tickets when booking a minimum 2 night stay. Cedar City Black Sheep Inn is a quaint vacation stay near Cedar City Canyon, nestled along Coal Creek, but centrally located to downtown, as well as that Utah Shakespeare Festival. And stay and play in the historic downtown Cedar City with the new Hampton Inn opening in December of this year, located with easy walking distance of downtown shops, restaurants, and the IG Winery mentioned before. It's a 96-room facility located, as I said, right downtown. We have also some new unique lodging options in the area, including Outpost X, where you can disconnect from society at this out of this world Star Wars themed eco retreat in the heart of our West Desert. We also have Little Village Retreat offering secluding glamping close to Canara Falls hiking trails. It gives them a great access point to some of those iconic hikes, as well as, of course, that Kolob Canyon that I mentioned before. Who wouldn't want to play a part in Star Wars? And of course, I just wanted to remind everyone that starting in mid-2026, oversized vehicles will be rerouted from the Zion Mount Carmel Highway through Cedar City to improve safety and protect resources. Built over 100 years ago, the Zion Tunnel has weight and size limitations that make it no longer safe for larger and taller vehicles to drive through without stopping traffic. Oversized vehicles will need to use the west entrance to access Zion National Parks and will be rerouted to Highways 20 and 14 to Highway 89 to access the east side of Zion or other nearby attractions like Bryce Canyon. Obviously, you can see that update on the website on the site, but vehicle limitations and additional info can always be found at nps.gov/Zion, or of course, you can always come through to our office. So that in 15 minutes or less is a little bit of an update on Cedar City and Brian Head. I just want to remind all the agents on the call today that Utah has an incredible special agent academy that's an immersive experience that can give you even more information and remind you about Cedar City and Brian Head, but also all kinds of other regions across the state. It's how we select our FAMIL participants. You need to be a special agent to be selected for a FAMIL. It also talks about our Forever Mighty initiative, which is also about leaving no trace and respecting the area that you're traveling to and being prepared. Etc. So if you haven't signed up and completed this course, we highly recommend you do so. And it's available online at visitutahspecialistacademy.com. Obviously, you can reach out to our office anytime, but I did want to just put up the Cedar City's contact information and social handles on the screen. Maria is the direct contact in Cedar City and would love to help with any of your client inquiries. So, like I said, that's Cedar City Brian Head. Stay tuned for the rest of the Utah series that Travelweek's putting on. And yeah, if there's any questions, I can take them.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey, for that very informational and great webinar. All right. Again, agents, if you have any questions, please drop it in the Q&A box and we'll answer them right away. So, Corey, I actually do have a few questions for you. When would you say is the best time to visit and how long would you recommend staying?
That's a great question, Cindy. I think for me, it depends on the traveler type. So snowbirds are obviously going to come kind of in that late fall and then depart back to Canada in the spring. And those guys coming through, they'd want at least a minimum of 2 nights on the way through, if not 3. There's kind of 2 separate parts to the stay. So I would say a snowbird would want to do kind of 2 nights up at Brian Head minimum. Maybe they want to take advantage of that ski lift package for where they get free skiing. And then they could do 2 nights in Cedar City as well and take in the Shakespeare Festival. So they're actually kind of two different components. Imagine up at ski in, ski out on the mountain, and then obviously down in Cedar City town. So 2 nights, 2 nights would be minimum, I would say. And then in terms of the rest of the year, obviously at each part, as we kind of talked about seasonality, the beautiful thing about the Canadian market is that they come through Utah year round. And our proximity to Vegas, I know the biggest question we're getting asked lately is how, what are the impacts of travel to the US? And we understand it's not everyone's choice at the moment. But I can tell you that 67,500 Canadians still came to Las Vegas in April. And that's a big number. And so, and again, we're only 3 hours away from Las Vegas. It's a great extension of a Las Vegas stay. And they really get into that outdoor experience for anyone that's coming there.
Awesome. Do you also have any secrets that you can share that maybe only the locals there would know?
A few. So if you have a client that's really intrepid, and they love the outdoors and they like to rappel or abseil, there are two incredible experiences in Kolob Canyon, both that I've taken in. One that's more of a moderate, abseiling program, and then there's this other one called Eye of the Needle, which is a series of 11 rappels down 11 different waterfalls, and then you actually have to via ferrata back out of it, and it's a great half-day experience. So that's probably one of my favorite things to do in Kolob area. And then again, the snowmobiling trip. So I know we talk about free skiing and skiing amongst the Red Rock, which is one of the only places in the world you can do this. But that snowmobiling trip to Cedar Breaks is definitely worth any client of your visit. They have great guides that teach people how to snowmobile if they've never done it before. And getting out there to see the white on red is just exceptional.
Yeah, awesome. It sounds really fun. All right, let me see. Okay, you did a great job because there's no questions from the agents. So before we wrap this up, Corey, do you have any last minute inspirational words for the agents on why they should book their clients to Cedar City?
Yeah, I think they're coming through, and I think it's like, especially the snowbirds are coming through, and I think Canadians are coming to Las Vegas. So just knowing we're there is probably step one. Completing that specialist program if they haven't already, and coming to visit themselves personally would be step two. We also want to just thank everyone that always participates in our incentives, like we had the Sell Your Way to the USA with Air Canada, where we bring agents down to experience the state and different partners. And yeah, I think just reaching out if they have any other questions, I think is the other one. So we're here to help, and I think yeah, we know Canadians are coming and staying. They're a big market for Cedar City. So yeah, the more we can work with travel agents to extend stays is the better for everyone.
Awesome. We do have a question here from Brian.
Sure.
Um, how has the new regulations in Zion affected the motor coach tours in the area? If you know the answer to that.
Yeah, so we're working with it's again being phased in. I think we've been working with the majority of the motor coach operators on revised itineraries and how things can work for their best for their guests. Each and every tour operator is different, but yeah, we are minimizing disruptions. I think the other thing the agents need to be with Zion is some of the hiking is permitted now. Angel's Landing is a permitted hike. And again, that NPS website is great in terms of keeping you most up to date, as is our office. So, yeah, so just for everyone on the webinar, if your clients want to hike Angel's Landing, it is a permitted program and they will need a permit and they need to apply for that the day before they want to hike, and there's regulations around it just for the safety on the trail.
Awesome. Well, that is it for today. So I want to say thank you, Corey, for being on with us again today. And also thank you, travel agents, for being here with us today. And we'll see you at the next Travel Week webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Cindy, thanks, guys.
Bye.